Do you believe the Taliban are sincere and they're genuinely seeking a political settlement?
Everybody's sincerity will be tested. What I can say is on behalf of our own delegation that they have gone there with full determination and will to contribute to the success of the talks. That's what I can say about our own delegation. There is no doubt that the progress, the fact that it took place in itself has been historical. I have no doubt in my mind. But the people of Afghanistan expected us more progress, and both sides need to show that flexibility and sincerity in order to deliver on the main agendas, on different difficult agendas, on less difficult agendas. It's important. There is a momentum in support of the peace process amongst the people of Afghanistan, and there is an opportunity, and I don't want to see that opportunity missed once again.
Just on a comparative scale, would you say that they're more sincere perhaps than the past, which is why they're at the table?
They're as serious as they have been forever. Being serious is not bad. Being firm in your will and determination to achieve peace is important. That's the most important thing, that commitment is there. But this, I don't want to judge it from outside. Sometimes our own delegation, they get disappointed, sometimes they get frustrated because based on things that they see there. But in the past, Taliban had never agreed to sit together. There have been occasions of dialogue, indirect interactions, and so on and so forth. But they have made that big decision, which is very important. And we have made that decision. But what is ahead of us are complicated issues to address it. And we are not allowed as Afghans to waste time. And the people of Afghanistan have expectations from us. And I can say without prejudice that our team, negotiating team, which represent the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan, they are all cognizant of those factors, in those facts.
So what's your assessment or the assessment of your delegation of the flexibility in the Taliban attitude? For example, on the ceasefire, they're committed to negotiating the ceasefire, but they're reluctant to agree to it soon. So what's the alternative for you, and what will your team accept?
The point is that they haven't got to the point that they will discuss ceasefire. Reduction in violence, and significant reduction in violence, so that people feel that now we see the results. Now this is how it should go, and it should get more improved and further improved. They haven't got into those discussions. If they are too sensitive to the idea of ceasefire, there are lots of ways to reduce violence. So there isn't that level of casualties which are there on both sides, and then the people can see it for themselves, and then the people will remain patient and will continue to support the efforts. Otherwise, there is a risk that while the talks takes longer and longer without any impact on the ground, there is a risk that the people will get disappointed.
So reduction in violence is a viable alternative for you?
Humanitarian ceasefire, significant reduction in violence leading to a ceasefire is something that we need to start with.
And did you discuss this with the Pakistani leaders? How
Of
they
course.
can help with this?
Of course,
what did they tell you?
We are in the same line. You may have followed the statement by the government of Pakistan after the conversation between Prime Minister Imran Khan and President Ghani, to go to that part, but then come to our own discussions. Even there, publicly, Prime Minister Imran Khan asked for reduction in violence leading to ceasefire. In our own discussions with all authorities, I found nobody having any doubt on that need, and also they promised that they will also try their own way, how they can use their positive influence in that regard.
So in concrete terms, what are the minimum concessions that each side may have to give for the process to move forward? It's stuck right now.
On the issue that it is stuck, I'm in contact with our own delegation back in Doha. There are a lot of ideas that if there is any flexibility in the other side, we should get over it. And as I mentioned earlier, our team has been advised and instructed to be flexible, and without getting into the text, which is agreeable, which is not agreeable, different scenarios we suggested, and our team had suggested, and then that has
maybe one or two.
For example, the Taliban are saying that everything that happens or the negotiations which has started, it has started on the basis of Doha Agreement. We have no problem with that. We have no problem with that. At the same time, we can say that we have started our negotiations.
We were part of the Doha Agreement.
We were not part of the Doha Agreement. We can acknowledge Doha Agreement, which is, we have acknowledged Doha Agreement already, because those prisoners which were released, thousands of them, that was on the basis of Doha Agreement. But also we had a jirga in Afghanistan. So they can attribute their own decision to Doha, while us, the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan, while acknowledging Doha, we can attribute it to the decision by Loy Jirga or our joint declarations with the United States. So why make this such an issue that we have remained stuck in it? So I give you one idea, like off the cuff, but at the same time there could be too many other ways.
Right. How important is it to work quickly towards a settlement? Like, would you rather that the Afghan parties were able to thrash out issues comprehensively, or would you like to quickly move ahead with assistance perhaps from others who are in better place to help you break the impasse?
At any stage that there is a need for a facilitator, or in later stages for mediators, we are not opposed to that. We are not opposed to that. But this needs to be agreed upon between both sides. It's not like one side deciding. If it is needed that facilitators can help, at one stage we should quickly move without wasting time, or if mediators are needed. But that depends on the agreement between both sides. Both sides should agree that this is needed, and we agree that it has to be that way, and then think about who could be the right facilitator. At this stage, we started. We need to show that we can work out things amongst ourselves as well. From A to Z, to leave it to a mediator or facilitator, it would not work.
So the concern that the international community might lose interest is a real one if the impasse is not broken soon. How much does that worry you?
Oh, that there is a concern. There is a big concern in the back of my mind that if one side, for example, if Taliban do not get more serious and do not show flexibility, that will affect the attitude of our team as well automatically, and then we might get to an impasse, another impasse. That is the concern in the back of my mind. But I don't want to be pessimistic, because the alternative, anybody who does not see that the alternative is worse for everybody, it's not just for us, it's not just for the Taliban, it's for us, for Taliban, for Afghanistan. It's not good for the region. It's like turning a blind eye towards a reality which is so obvious. And I don't want to see that happening. This could happen based on a miscalculation. Somebody might have some calculations in that respect. But the recent history of Afghanistan the lessons drawn from the recent history of Afghanistan shows that there is no military solution. Now we say it. The region is saying it. Our international partners agree, and they are trying to help. And anybody making a miscalculation in this between will mean missing up with an opportunity which is real.
So until when would you like to see a settlement? Do you have a rough time
Right
frame?
now, before finishing the interview, but this is not based on my wishes, to be honest.
What rough time frame do you see? 3 months, 1 month, few weeks?
The sooner the better. The sooner the better.
Are you and President Ghani 100% on the same page on the negotiations?
Find me two sisters or two brothers which are 100% on the same page on all issues, but when it comes to peace, yes, President Ghani agreed with the release of prisoners. 4,600 prisoners were released before the Loya Jirga, and it wouldn't have happened had he not believed in moving the process forward. Big decision, very big decision. He is the president of the country.
So
and
not 100% on the same page, but like reading the same book.
the goal is peace, dignified, durable peace, acceptable for the people of Afghanistan, without losing the gains of the past, which is the right of the people, the values that we believe, the liberties, freedom of speech, women's rights, the right to vote, and all of that. On those principles, we think the same way.
And do you think President Ghani has the political clout to see these very critical negotiations through?
All of us should work together. It's not just one person's job.
He's the president of the country.
He's the president of the country. The way that he is looking at it will have an impact on the situation, but also there is a High Council for National Reconciliation, which our job is to bring consensus, including his views, the views of the people in the government, the views of the people which are in the opposition, the views of the people which are neither in the government nor in the opposition, civil society, broader public society as a whole. We should keep everybody behind this in order to have an early results. That's in our part, in the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan. Then comes Taliban. They need to make extra efforts within their own system, within their own movement, in order to move it forward.
What role do you see for yourself in a future framework? President?
My focus is not on my own role, to be honest. From hearing this from a politician which has been candidate almost every time there is an election, people will not easily accept that. But I can say it with full conscience that the ultimate goal for me will be achieving peace in a country, for a nation which deserve it, which have suffered more than its share for the past 42 years. That's my ultimate goal. And then I'm not the type of person that to pursue a personal goal and then compromise such an important goal behind my own personal ideas. That's not. I'm saying it with full 100% confidence that peace is important for me, and I tend to forget. I started to forget how it looked like when there was peace in Afghanistan, and look at the generations that they don't remember at all. They were not born when there was peace, and the person who's now 42 years old, they don't know how did peaceful Afghanistan look like, and that situation should come to an end. Me as a citizen, living in a peaceful country, in a dignified peace, where the rights of the people are preserved. I feel like president, like more than that, like king, like emperor. That suffices. That situation itself is something that worth all the efforts, all the sacrifices.
So Pakistan has constantly complained of, groups like the Pakistan Taliban using Afghanistan to launch attacks. What kind of concrete measures is Afghanistan taking now to ensure this doesn't happen? Because you also said in your public talk yesterday that, Afghanistan has changed and we're not going to let any entities use our soil. So, in concrete terms, what does that mean?
There are two things related to that. My view as a citizen and also as a chairman of the High Council. We are against any group under any name, any terrorist group, posing threats against any nation in the neighborhood, beyond the neighborhood, or countries far away from us. We have seen it, and that's not a change in my view today. That has been my belief throughout my life. These terrorist groups under different names, you mentioned one or two names, they do not serve any nations, any states' legitimate interest. Eventually, they have their own goals, and they turn against state institutions when they have the chance. And this region, Pakistan, Afghanistan, have been a witness to that. And we don't need to be taught about it. And that's my firm belief. It's regardless of my position today, tomorrow, yesterday, it's the same. It will remain the same.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate Pakistan's contribution to making these talks happen and to their possible success also now going forward?
Oh, I'm not in the position of juries here, and I encourage. I continue to encourage positive attitude, and I will continue to make efforts if I can contribute in any way to building trust and working towards cooperation with the spirit of peaceful and friendly neighborhood coexistence. No, it's a bridge. And to give you one example, that may help. Like I had a classmate, and during the university, and I have the pictures of some of the memories of us in the past. Relatively okay situation, but not peaceful. And then somebody recognized that person. I said that this person is from Herat. And he said, yes, he's from Herat, but he's Shiite. He was that person for 7 years. He was my classmate, but I didn't know that he was Shiite. That was the spirit amongst the people in the old days, before these polarizations came, before people started using ethnicity for politics. We didn't know amongst our own classmates at school or in the university which background. Okay, perhaps the province, he comes from that province or not.
And Afghanistan of today, it's a bridge.
To Afghanistan, today's Afghanistan needs to look back. Do we make these diverse nature of our nation, different ethnicities, different languages, regions, socioeconomic circumstances, as a tool to fight forever over ruling, or a means to find a way to add to the beauty of the country and make it an energy for the country flourishing and looking towards the future rather than getting stuck in the past.